Alright, what's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be going over my live trading session. Today is February 23rd, 2026, and we'll be going over my uh, pre-market analysis before anything, and then we'll get into some live trades. So let's get right into it. Okay, as you guys can see on my screen, um, I have my pre-market analysis right here. And I said SPY trading within a range, clear supply and demand zones, pre-market finding a higher support level and a resistance level within the range. SPY still has a gap to fill on the upside, looking to see how the levels that have been drawn out get reacted to today, looking to be patient and sit on my hands. Um, so here we got our supply and demand zones, green being areas of supply, areas of demand in the red, and also noted by these blue areas, area of supply, area of demand, and then we have some levels drawn out as well. So let's get into the trading session. So today, I don't trade the first 5 minutes, as I always state. I like to let it go by and get some context. So the context that I got pre-market open was, okay, buyers are extremely strong, you know, and just how the movement has been the last couple weeks is you have a strong move to the upside. You want to play in that favor, you know. So what I was doing was waiting for a pullback, waiting for an area in which, it gave me a better deal and not buying it, when it's overextended. And so I was waiting for this better deal. I was waiting for it to pull back to have a purchase to the upside. Um, that little spike right there, I end up not taking it. Reason being was it just I didn't think it pulled back enough. I don't think it looked good to take long. I would have wanted I would have wanted to get it at a cheaper price. But hindsight, um, with this stock, this 690 level was a level the previous day that ended up getting rejected today. So this would have been a really nice trade to the downside, and I wasn't able to capitalize on it. I didn't see it during the time. I was just looking at this move that it was having to the upside. It's having a nice pullback and then a continuation of the move. To me, this looked bullish at the moment, and I wasn't really looking. I wasn't really too confident in taking a short trade. Is pretty much what I'm trying to say. But as I was stating before, I was waiting for that pullback to get into this move, looking for a buy on the downside. I think I end up taking a trade around here. And what I want to emphasize, hindsight after the fact, is that, I think the idea wasn't the issue. I think, you know, me looking for a long trade, after it's made a move up, it's came back into an area where it's finding a support wasn't the issue, but the issue with today's trading was that I wasn't trading in an area of interest. It would have been different if, you know, we have this, right, this area that was rejected before the previous day, and now it's being rejected today. So then I'm looking for a short, right? After a huge move to the upside, then looking for a short because it's overextended. Versus, let's say this had pulled back extremely strong and it came into an area that was once being supported. Then this would have had more context. I was trying to get in long trades in this middle of the range, and this is something that I've seen. Uh, I don't have as much probability, when I'm trading, because since I do trade areas of supply and demand, um, what I should be looking for is this getting into an area of supply or demand, right? And then going with going with this continuation. But this was a terrible fill on this stock. This was an extremely terrible fill. Um, like I had got filled on the right on almost the top. You know, I was up in the money. I was up almost my 1-to-1. It ended up stopping me out, and it pretty much failed. So like I was stating, and what you're gonna end up seeing with these next couple of trades is I'm trying to catch a long trade, which I don't think is the issue. I'm seeing buyers around this area, but the thing is, it's not an area of interest. It's not an area in which buyers have stepped in previously, so I don't have as much context to my trade. It's not, it's, it looks good, but um, a better trade would have been to trade in an area which is one of my key levels, something drawn out like these green lines or these red lines. So this trade was my second trade as well, looking for another long trade. This one didn't work out. It didn't work out as well. The first one I was able to minimize the loss. I was able to minimize it, and now it had its move up. So with this trade, to me at the moment it was looking like a false breakdown. You have an area in which it's like an area of accumulation. It's having buyers and sellers agree on a certain price. It falls broke down. It broke down, right? Ended up getting bought up completely. So at this point, I'm like, buyers look strong. They look like they're stepping into the market. I was also using order book, so I'm using tools to see this buying. So at this moment, I'm looking for it to pull back and then, possibly have a continuation, anticipating a continuation and playing the move, because at the end of the day, um, this is an area which not much volume was traded. So this is an area of balance, right? This is an area of balance. Buyers and sellers were transacting. This is an area of balance where buyers and selling were transacting. And these areas tend to fill. This area of imbalance tends to fill. So from balance to balance and an imbalance in between, these areas tend to fluctuate. That's how I was able to catch like two, three, 6-to-1s the other day by just trading imbalance and balance. Today was just one of those days that didn't work. So what I'm looking for here is to play on the long side, play with the buyers that I just noticed there's pressure. In this instant, I think in complete honesty, my stop was a little too tight. I should have gave it at least a little more leg room, but when the buyer stepped in, when this candle was green, it immediately flipped on me and went red. So I ended up being down 3R on the day. And what you guys are going to end up seeing is just like hindsight, it's just extremely choppy price actions. Choppy price action comes up, just chopping its way down, making its way to the downside. It broke down, broke out. So today was just, and then it broke back down, and even worse. Broke down again, got bought up. As you guys can see, it's just extremely choppy price actions. So today's market was just, in my opinion, hard to trade. I gave it a couple stabs. I think what I could have done better was trade in an area where there's more context, and that could have probably saved me a little bit of money. But looking to, you know, do better these next couple days and keep on taking on risk whenever I see something that looks good. And yeah, just gonna try to learn from these that mistake, wait for my not only wait for my setup and wait for a confirmation, but where is the confirmation happening? Like is it happening at an area in which it has got bought up previously, or is it in the middle of a range? Because when you trade in the middle of a range, you expect to, you expect that chop. So I can, hindsight, I would like to try to avoid that as much as possible. And yeah, let's say be a little more probably patient, probably more patient. I didn't necessarily feel FOMO today, but I guess mm, I could have played it out a little better. I could have played this day a little better, and yeah, looking to try again tomorrow. So I hope you guys found something helpful in this video, and if you guys did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.